last part of it is all about quality related costs. Last week when we have done the case study question, multiple things were covered in that. So we have looked into how to answer quality related costs. Kaizen was not there, but otherwise we've done Kaizen earlier. Then TQM, um, target costing was there in that question. So we have not touched on um, Six Sigma. Let's look into this one and take up one case study. See here, this concept was pioneered by Motorola. What is the basic concept behind this? Is the name of Six Sigma was also derived from the normal probability curve. See, I mean, technically, that is not of any relevance, but see, the normal curve is symmetric on, I mean, it is at its peak at x bar. On both the sides, we see it is symmetric, same shape and size, and the curve extends from minus infinity to plus infinity. The x bar and the curve changes a change in the shape at x bar plus 1 standard deviation, 1 sigma. So x bar plus 3 sigma region is covered by 99.7%. So this 3 sigma is further extended till 6 sigma. So x bar plus 6 sigma is an area which is covered by 99.9999%. So here the acceptable region is x bar plus 6 sigma, which means that very few fall outside the acceptable region. So the number of defective units which are included in the prediction is very low, which is around 3.4 defective pieces for every 1 million units produced. This concept of Six Sigma is not only applicable in manufacturing business, it is also used in service businesses. So that is what basically we're going to look into. There are certain concepts of Six Sigma. So they are basically critical to quality, focuses on quality, eliminating all defective units, the process capability, variations, stable operations, and design for Six Sigma. See, process capability, what your process can deliver, and how the customers look at the product. So what variation do they feel in that? Stable operations, ensuring consistent, predictable processes to improve what the customer sees and feels. And the design for Six Sigma is to meet the customer's needs. See, the process of Six Sigma, for us in our syllabus, it's given as DMAIC. There are other processes also. So other step, I mean, more or less it would be the same, but the emphasis on certain things in other processes. Here it is about DMAIC. D talks about define an opportunity. M is measure performance, analyze A, I is improve, and C is control. So this is one process included in our syllabus. So we will focus on this one and then learn what it is. So there is one question in the examination kit. Telecommunication. So let's take this one. First, we'll read through the case. It's a 25 marks case study. 25 marks case study. So all the points are related to Six Sigma. Explain how the general way in which Six Sigma is implemented. Then illustrate how DMAIC method is implemented for Six Sigma and appropriateness of introducing other quality practices. So the question revolves around quality. What's the content? Telecom is a large national telephone business in Thailand. Thebe provides telephone service to more than 11 million customers through its fixed line and mobile services. Thebe has three strategic business units: mobile, fixed line, telephone, incorporating broadband, and corporate services, serving other businesses' telephone needs. It has become the largest mobile operator in Thailand through a series of acquisitions of competitors and operating licenses. Tebe's CEO has won many awards for being an innovative businessman who recognizes the rapid changes in technology, regulation, and competitor action that occur in the sector. Tebe's main competitor in Thailand is the original nationalized telephone company, Fatal, which was privatized 20 years ago, but which retains many of the features of a monopoly supplier, including a massive infrastructure. As a result, Tebe's CEO realized long ago that competition on the basis of price and volume would not work against such a large competitor. So he focused on customer service as the key to growing the business. Then it says, in order to improve the company's competitive position, the CEO decided that the company should consider a Six Sigma initiative to give an immediate step change improvements to the service quality at Thebe. The initiative involved a number of projects, including one to improve the quality of customers' bills. So we will be looking into that, and the project is focused on improving the accuracy of customers' bill. So in general, what is Six Sigma, and specifically about DMA-IC method. And then finally, any other thing which can be considered. So let's take this one to the Excel file. So let's start writing the first one. Explain how the general way in which Six Sigma is implemented helps improve the quality of performance, illustrating your answer with reference to Thebe. We are looking at implementation of Six Sigma. We see that it can be used in manufacturing and service businesses. Then the purpose is to um, decrease wastage and improve products or services. So basically, decrease wastages or eliminate the defective ones from being produced. So that's the focus area there. Here we do not have, see, Thebe is not into manufacturing of products, but Thebe is into providing services because it's a telecom company. We are based in Fayland. They provide telephone services to more than 11 million customers through its fixed line and mobile services. Then it has become the largest mobile operator in Fayland through a series of acquisitions of competitors and operating licenses. After that, see how are they implementing Six Sigma. So we need to focus on what is that they are doing to implement Six Sigma. So if they are implementing Six Sigma in case of a service industry, how do we identify whether it is effective in service business? That would be based on, are there any complaints from the customers or any issues when services are provided? That is how it would be looked into. See, how promptly do they cater to the requirements of the customers, clients, etc. So that is what we need to look into. So implementation of Six Sigma, it is not in general, though it is asked in a generic sense, but ultimately we have to illustrate the answers with reference to Thebe. So what is going on with Thebe with respect to Six Sigma is what we have to answer. So the important points here would be there should be very minimum number of complaints regarding their services provided to the customers. How is Thebe doing? Specifically, let's look into that. Thebe CEO has won many awards for being an innovative businessman who recognizes the rapid change in technology, regulation, competitor action that occur in the sector. Then Thebe's major competitor in Fayland is the original nationalized telephone company, Fatal. So this was privatized 20 years ago. Now Fatal is the main competitor of Thebe, but which retains many of the features of a monopoly supplier, including a massive infrastructure. Then it says that as a result, Thebe's CEO realized long ago that competition on the basis of price and volume would not work against such a large competitor. So if they have to face the competition, see, there are various strategies. We also understand that generic strategies, one is working on the cost part of it or differentiation. So here, What does Thebe believe? Thebe believes that realized long ago that competition on the basis of price and volume would not work. So, so they should differentiate themselves from the competitor. How would they differentiate themselves? Better services when they are provided, they would be differentiated. See, in terms of price, they feel that they cannot compete with their competitor fatal. So what should they be doing? They should be differentiating themselves or place themselves in a better position so that they can cater to the requirements of the clients. Done. There's something else also mentioned about fatal. So this CEO focused on customer service as the key to growing the business. In order to improve the company's competitive position, the CEO decided the company should consider a Six Sigma initiative to give an immediate step change improvement to the service quality at Thebe. The initiative involved a number of projects, including one to improve the quality of customers' billing. So now they have identified that in terms of customers' bills, they can do something about it. Fatal was publicly criticized. Their competitor Fatal was criticized by government's consumer advocate who pointed to occasional misallocations of call minutes to the wrong numbers, and also more frequently the application of incorrect tariffs in calculating the costs of call. So they have identified that by providing better services, they can grow in the industry. On the same note, we see that their main competitor Fatal also failed. Fatal has failed in the area of providing better services. Their mistakes, their inefficiencies include billing was not appropriate. Fatal was criticized for misallocation of call minutes to wrong numbers and also application of incorrect tariffs in calculating the cost of call. So while costs were calculated, wrong calculations, misallocation of call minutes. So Thebe CEO is aware that all telephone businesses including Thebe have these problems, but this is an area in which Thebe can gain a competitive advantage and has taken a special interest in this project by championing it himself. So the project is focused on improving the accuracy of customers' bills, and the handling of complaints. Within the billing department, the company divided activities into normal money collection, credit control on overdue payments, and managing complaints. Process diagrams were created for each of these areas, and then data was sourced from customer feedback at various points of interaction with Thebe employees, such as complaints handling and internal measurables created. The project team was formed from the managers from all three strategic business units and the billing department. If you read through the entire case, understood the scenario. How the explain how the general way in which Six Sigma is implemented. Since Thebe is in service industry, better services to customers can be provided. So where did it find itself a place? So they have identified it, the areas where services can be provided, and they worked in those areas. So they started working in those areas. Next. Um, the areas are concepts of Six Sigma. Six Sigma revolves around a few key concepts. First one is critical to quality. So they have also identified that quality services were not provided to the customers. Therefore, they want to work in those areas and um, provide better services to the customers. So then critical to quality, any defect failing to deliver what the customer wants. So specifically with Thebe, they have identified the area where their competitor failed. Okay. Um, so if a competitor has failed, so they have identified that as their area. Now they are looking at how they would be able to deliver better services. So what your process can deliver, what the customer sees and feels, ensuring consistent, predictable process to improve what the customer sees and feels, and then deciding part. So, but then how is it possible? If they have to, they have identified that um, one area they have identified the area of better services is in terms of addressing the customers or clients complaints. In order to improve the company's competitive position, CEO decided that they should consider Six Sigma initiative to give an immediate step change improvement. The initiative involved a number of projects, including one to improve the quality of customers' bills. Patel was publicly criticized. Tebi's CEO is aware that all telephone businesses have these problems, but that is in an area in which Tebi can gain competitive advantage and has taken a special interest in this project by championing it himself. Okay. Last paragraph, let's read it once again. The project is focused on improving the accuracy of customers' bills and handling of complaints within the billing department. So they have a plan in place. Within the billing department, the company divided activities into normal money collection, credit control on overdue payments, credit control on overdue payments, then managing complaints. For each of this activity, process diagrams were created for each of these areas, and then data was sourced from customer feedback. So they have collected data from customer feedback. So their plan of action includes um, identifying the areas where they want to focus. So that is divided into three areas: normal money collection, credit control on overdue payment, and managing complaints. They have process diagrams in place how they would be handling that. They are also collecting feedback from the customer. So data is collected. It is not that randomly they have started working on providing better services, but they have see, the focus is on critical to quality. If it is critical to quality, how do they provide quality services? So there is a plan in place. They have identified how they would be providing. First is segregation of duties, segregation of work. For each one, there is a process diagram created to take it up. data is collected from customers' feedback at various points of interaction with Thebe employees, such as complaint handling and internal measurables created. The project team was formed from line managers from all three departments. See here, their focus is on what the customer sees and feels. So the requirement from the customers is taken up, and then they have started providing better quality services to the customers. It is not just with a concept that because the competitor failed, they would be doing, but see, critical to quality based on what the customer sees and feels, what is the customer's feedback. That is crucial here for them to venture into that area and focus in those areas. The work is segregated and process maps are prepared for each process. Feedback from the customers is collected based on which they have taken the initiative based on the generic strategy of differentiation. So they felt that they cannot uh, gain advantage if they work on cost control. Differentiating themselves by providing better services. Who took the initiative? The CEO took the initiative. See, um, normally it is said that the tone is always set at the top. See, the top management, the senior management is serious about something, it can be effectively implemented. If their seriousness is not there, their commitment towards a particular method or process or any initiative, if it is not there, it becomes very difficult to implement that in the organization. But if the senior management is serious about something, the tone is set at the top. That's what is the thing. So if the CEO himself feels that they should adopt um, Six Sigma, it can be effectively implemented. So Okay. Competitor is criticized. Areas are identified. Okay. Anything else if we identify, we can add process capability. Their capability from their side. Previous year, somewhere all telecom businesses, including Thebe. We identify anything else, we will write. So that is how many marks question? 8 marks. Right? Next, 9 marks question. Explain and illustrate how DMAIC method for implementation. Okay. First, let's see the explanation of what is DMAIC. D stands for define an opportunity. The opportunity is in terms of the area where they can work to improve themselves. Here, if quality has to be provided, um, um, they have to identify an opportunity to work in that area so the quality can be provided. So first they have to identify an area where they can work. So that is what is the area where they can implement Six Sigma is defining an opportunity. Here in Thebe also they have an opportunity. Opportunity is an area where they can work in terms of addressing the customers' complaints with specific reference to wrong billing and misallocation of call minutes to the numbers. That is an area they want to work. So that is an opportunity which is present for them. Opportunity to work in a particular area. That is defining the opportunity. So until now, what is the performance? Until now, measure performance till that point of time where they, when they have identified an opportunity, measure the performance. After measuring the performance, analyze the opportunity. So analyze how is it possible for them to implement whatever they want to implement. After analyzing that, they implement the strategy, then and see whether there is any improvement in performance. See, whenever there is implementation, we would also see there is a comparative analysis, and based on which there is, the monitoring based on which feedback is given to control any kind of deviations that take place. So we now have to focus on these points. So DMAIC. So all 5 points we have to address them. So let's start. What's the opportunity? The opportunity is to, in detail, you write what does it mean, provide better services That's defining an opportunity. Measure performance measure performance. So how do they know what is the performance? What do you think is the performance until now? How do they know? Even there in the class? How do they understand what is happening until now? They've collected feedbacks from the customers. So measurement of performance is by so they got to understand. So elaborate that and write. So they got to understand what is the performance, and specifically they have understood how the competitor is performing. So that's measure performance. DMA. A is analyze. Analyze the process. Did they analyze? They did analyze that situation because they have prepared process diagrams were created see, to understand that were created for each of these areas, and then data was sourced. So they did analyze the process. So the process was the work was divided into three major areas. Activities were divided. Next, I. I is implement. We do not have much information about whether they were they they have implemented these things to improve the process, and the feedback collected to control any kind of deviations that take place. um, so generally you're right. Of course if the information is not there, so in general you can talk about what actually happens at this stage. The strategy prepared, the plan prepared. Then we see control, control the process as the strategy is implemented. Based on feedback, if required, maybe control measures. So these are 5 points or 5 steps in DMAIC. How they can implement that. Around about each point, you can score around 1.5 to 2 marks for each one. Finally, the question says that evaluate the appropriateness of introducing the other quality practices at Thebe. So, see, until this point, it is all Six Sigma. So we have addressed. So, it is an open-end question. So it says that what could be the other quality-related methods that can be implemented? See, it's not focused, it's not targeted at any particular method as such, but it's a general thing, it's an open thing, focusing on the quality-related methods that can be used. So we have one thing called as quality-related cost can be incurred to ensure that quality is maintained. There is Kaizen costing and TQM, which focus on quality, continuous improvement. Kaizen focuses on target costing, TQM focuses on no defect. Then JIT can be implemented, target costing, lean production. These are the other areas which can be implemented. So suggest at least each one of you, two of you are there, one method you suggest and how it can be implemented. If you can talk about it, we can include in the answer. Can quality related, anybody there in the class, listening to the class? So quality related costs cannot be implemented here because there is no production process going on. Testing, quality inspection, testing, etc. Those things are not needed here. Kaizen and TQM, both of them can be implemented. So we can mention that Kaizen costing, continuous improvement. Then focus would be on target costing, feedback taken from internal sources, based on which they take all the measures. Another thing is about TQM. TQM can be implemented. So this one also talks about continuous improvement. Elimination of defects or defect free. target costing. Um, okay, 8 marks are there. Three methods. Okay. These things, if we talk about, say, JIT is not applicable, Dean is not applicable. So these three methods, they also, along with it, is in support of Six Sigma. These methods can be adopted, followed, and implemented at Thebe. Okay, that's the answer. It's a 25 marks case study. Any doubts? So in this case, now we have answered most of the topics and then case studies on that. Any specifically any topic you want to discuss in the class? You tell me and then I'll take up a case study on that.